everyone, and welcome to Fun Fresh Fridays. Guess what? All of us are here together. Hi, Rhonda. Hi, Stefania.
Hi, Janetta. Hi, Rhonda. How are you?
Very well. How are you?
Good, good. Yes, we're all together, the threesome.
Yes, and we have a mystery guest. But before that, let's prolong the suspense just a little bit longer.
Georgia.
I would like to, we like to do our shout outs in the beginning. So, Stefania, do you have a shout out?
Oh, okay. I have a shout out to all my followers at the Gentleman Square. I would like to say hello, gentlemen, and hello, ladies, and welcome to Fun Fresh Fridays.
Woohoo!
Woo!
Miss Rhonda.
I do. Her name is Deborah Jones, and she is a very close friend of mine of 23 years now.
Wow.
So, yeah, welcome to Fun Fresh Fridays.
Wow, welcome,
Yeah.
welcome. Me, I have a shout out to my sister all the way in the Philippines. She is a constant supporter, and I love her very much. And it is right now 8:30 a.m. in the Philippines. Good morning,
Wow.
everyone. Good morning. Good morning in the Philippines. Good morning in Australia. Good
Yes.
afternoon in Europe. And what else?
Good evening.
Evening.
In Chicago.
Evening in Europe.
Yes.
It's actually afternoon here now. It's
Afternoon.
12:40.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's right, because we went back. That's
Okay.
right.
Yeah.
That's right. And hello, Patricia. Happy Friday. Hello, Natasha. Happy Friday. All right. So we are going to talk about today the power of resilience. And everybody knows, my story of how my book is out. So everybody knows my childhood trauma, and I don't mince any kind of words or keep anything from that. So good morning from the Philippines. Good morning, Yale. Good morning. That's my niece. And so we're going to talk about resilience. How do you recover from resilience? How do you recover from trauma? How do you recover from past hurts? How do you recover from all of this? Am I hearing something? Oh, never mind. It's you, right, Rhonda? That's okay. I thought it was a feedback for a second, but no. So, and I wanted to bring this guest on so that we can actually talk about it. Okay. I am going to go off for a few seconds and I'll be right back.
Rhonda, it's you and I.
The mystery of this, and just the mystery.
The mystery.
Mhm.
Oh, who could it be? Oh,
It is my husband, Jeff.
hello, Jeff. How are you?
Nice to meet you.
Hi, everybody. I
Hi.
hear I'm actually a fill-in. It was supposed to be Patricia.
Yeah.
I'm just saying. Just saying. It's okay. Somehow I will recover from this trauma. I'll go on and lead a long, fulfilling life.
Wow. We're going to be talking about how to do it with resilience.
Natasha says, oh, I'm sorry. And Natasha says, hello, Jeff. So, love you, BFF. That's my best friend in the Philippines, Lisa. And wait, what? That's Patricia.
Patricia, see? Wait, what? See? She's disappointed. What can I say?
So, let's talk about resilience.
Okay. It's very lasting. But, everybody comes at that with a different viewpoint in reality because it's individual to everybody. But what isn't individual is the foundations. I mean, the truth is, we talk, bad things happen to good people.
Yes, I do.
And unfortunately, good things happen to bad people. And that affects the good people as well. But the real truth is, how do you overcome that? How do you deal with that in the moment? How do you not let it affect you for the rest of your life? It's easy to fall into what I'll call a rut, to say and blame every bad thing that happens from that on that, or use it as a rationalization that says, well, no, that's why. I'm not a firm believer of that. I'm a believer that you need to learn to overcome that trauma, the tragedy. You do it with your friends. You do it with professional help. You do it with activities. You do it with a belief in your own innate goodness and the fact that you do deserve good and not bad. But if you just, woe is me and my life is destined to be bad, you can sink into that pretty easy.
Did you ladies hear that?
That's very good.
Okay, good. My job here is done. Have a nice time. I gotta go.
No. Well, he said something that kind of struck me. He said that the resilience, you get that, you recover from it from friends, with help of others, not by yourself, because we actually need each other. What are your thoughts on that? Can you do it on your own?
I think it starts with you. I think it doesn't. I think if it starts with someone, well, it starts with you. Someone else can want you to get through something, get over something. But unless you find it in yourself to want to get over it, to want to work through it, they can want it for you, but you won't experience it.
What about the ones that like what he said, wallows in it? Like the conversation that we had.
Mm-hmm.
The conversation you guys had.
Yeah, me and Rhonda. Yeah, she. I told her get over it. She needs to.
Yeah, she did. She told me to snap out of it.
Mm.
She had been in front of me, she probably would have grabbed me like this.
Yeah, I would have.
Oh, sounds like somebody else I know.
Oh yeah.
But you're right. You do have to want it. You have to start it, because if you don't want it, it doesn't matter what help you get. It won't have any effect. I mean, so that is your first conscious decision. I want to be better. I want to be stronger. I'm not going to let this control my life. I'm better than whoever did this to me, or I'm better than whatever circumstance it was, or even if it's just something out of the blue that you can't, you could never have controlled. It's that freak accident that happens. Some people will say, "Oh well," I mean, depending on your religious views, well, that was meant to be. I don't agree with that. It's just, like I said, bad things happen to good people, and you can fix that, but you have to want to do that, and then you can accept the help that people provide for you or offer you.
You can do some of the work on your own. Acknowledgement is key. You must accept your truth. That's you, Patricia.
I have to accept my truth.
No, that was Patricia. So
you could have Patricia on here. It's good to go.
So what do you say? So you guys can ask Jeff any kind of questions you want pertaining to me. So how did you think when we first met as to where I was?
Where's my safe zone?
Right.
What was my safe word?
Patricia.
So anyway, there I was.
So
you were you were in a very interesting place. You were portraying that you were this hardcore, I don't take crap from anybody, and anybody who tries to give me crap is just full of it. But you also lived, you've heard me say it before, you lived behind a brick wall with a very small door. Well,
Okay, yes. Yes.
and then we would tear down some of the bricks,
Yes.
and then all of a sudden you would run back and put the bricks back in place and close the door.
Yes. Yes.
It was like, luring the cat out of the carrier with some catnip.
This is every day, by the way, with him. It's constant comedy, but also a lesson. Yeah, it is true because, with the traumas that I've experienced, it was hard. And I don't know about anybody else, but it's hard to come out of a trauma and then, be thrusted in a marriage of 23 years and then go into a divorce, another heartache on top of the trauma that was already there. It just compounds. So then when you meet someone, like what the topic is, how do you bounce back? How do you recover? And so, I wanted him to come on here to show how it was much of a struggle for me, not what you see today. This, this. Oh,
I didn't say nothing.
I am so better today.
It wasn't me.
I am so better today than I was 4 years ago.
Yes. 5 years ago.
5 years
But
ago.
who's counting?
So it was a struggle. So the way he described it, it was a brick wall with a small door. And his attempts to.
And that's not unusual. I mean, the truth is, people have to recognize too that trauma comes with all kinds of sizes and shapes, and some is just mental trauma, emotional trauma, some is physical, some is a combination of the two. But the one thing that they all have in common is a profound effect on that person and an impact on the life. And for some people, though, they recover really well and it directs them in a more positive way in their life. Other people aren't as lucky. So it all depends on, part of it's your viewpoint and what you were like prior. It is partly of how you made that decision that you want to move forward and then seek help.
Mhm.
Because very few to anybody can even make the decision, I want to be better, and then do it by themselves after a really big trauma in life, physical or emotional.
You guys are quiet. You guys
It's
are
very
quiet.
good.
You guys
Well-
are making me nervous.
No, I'm listening because one of the things that I really like about what's being said is, or what we forget sometimes is that we do build up a brick wall of protection around ourselves to say, I'm never going to be hurt again. The problem is we trap ourselves behind the wall. And part of it is, along with being trapped behind the wall, the only entry or exit point is the doorknob is on your side. So the doorknob's on your side. It's not a two-way doorknob. It's only on your side. So unless you turn it and open the door, you've trapped yourself behind the wall.
Wow. Yes. Patricia said, you must accept all aspects of emotions, fear, anger, anxiety, tears. If you need professional help, it's okay. All part of the process. Well, you do know he's a doctor, so I went to the doctor.
That is so wrong. That is so wrong.
I called forth my resilience before I realized I was resilient. Wow, that's really good, Natasha, because sometimes we think that we've overcome certain things until somebody comes along, and um, you want to have this relationship, but then you're I'm just going to describe how I how it went, how I went through the process of going from trauma to trying to have a relationship, um, and how I overstepped that threshold, because there's that
Mhm.
threshold, like what you said, there's that the doorknob is on this side only.
Only.
For me to open that up, I mean, for me to actually grab it and open it up, um, is that when he starts to say, really nice things and do really great things, for me, it's like, this is too good to be true. Because he literally would write me handwritten notes every day.
Ooh, that sounds so stalkerish. Oh, it wasn't me.
Oh man.
Man.
That's one of my questions I was going to ask Jeff. Right? May I ask you, Jeff?
Sure.
First of all, you said she kind of, I think you said she built a wall around her. When did you actually notice or realize that there was this really strong resilience with Sonetta? Like, was it immediate? Did you feel it? Did you see it? How did it come to you?
Did you smell it?
Well, that's bonus times. I think so. I would not say it was right away. I mean, because I noticed the walls right away, and I noticed it because how she interacted with people, and how she interacted, whether it was a larger group or a smaller group, whether it was one on one, or how she responded when somebody else questioned her behaviors, and because of that, we almost weren't. Somebody we were getting closer, and somebody basically, I think somebody was jealous, so somebody got on and whispered in her other ear and said some derogatory things and planted some what ifs in her head, and she immediately retreated, and left me with, I was kind of like, well, okay, I thought we were well on the way to a solid friendship and moving forward, and I guess we're not, so okay, life goes on. Um, but then several weeks later, because you stayed in Kuwait, we had a chance to reconnect again, and there was just the vibe, and there was I had the sense, to me it was like, no, she's really smart, and she's got something going on, but she's hiding it. So so part of it was a little curiosity, but then the other part of it, to be honest, there was a little bit of a challenge in there. And then it just grew from that. And then we actually, as things progressed, we would start to have those conversations. So sometimes they were teary conversations. And sometimes they were teary conversations when she still ran back and slammed the door. And one day, though, what she didn't realize is that we had a hole in the back part of the wall, and I snuck around to this side of the door, and there I was. Then she had to run out the front door again.
All right. So you're playing this like chasey game.
Yes.
Nice.
I like what Natasha said. She said the wall is not resilience, it's resistance. Wow. Resilience is the ability to be who you truly are in spite of what you've been through. Yeah. So in resisting,
Resistance was futile.
sometimes us ladies, when we meet someone and they have all of these criterias, that we have in our head. He must do this, he must this, and this, and this. And then when they actually do it, this is me. This is just me. No, this is too good to be true. So I'm going to be suspicious. I'm going to be, so all of the other things from the trauma comes back up. And then it's almost like I react to him through the eyes of trauma, if you guys understand what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. I do.
So, and he caught that, and he would call me on it.
Would you call you on it?
He would call me on
I mean, the real truth is I guess there's a school of thought where you can always use the soft, fluffy bunny gloves when dealing with somebody. But there's also a school of thought that says sometimes the bunny gloves are necessary, and other times you have to be truthful. And they can either someone who can either accept that or they can't. But continuing to shield somebody can reinforce the resistance. But it's a calculated risk too. So, but I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
So what made you keep going? Like, obviously she was shutting you out. You're running out of ideas. Of course.
I was in a really dark place, and I was into abuse and neglect. So,
So yes, honey. So what kept you going?
recognizing the real you, the intrinsic, the goodness and the caring and the intelligence that you have.
Don't make me cry.
The fact that my belief was that you had so much more to give than what you were doing, that you deserved much more. And it's not about me. I mean, that would be way too egotistical. I am great, but but the fact that there was more of you inside that you were letting out, and we still see that today. You're one way with some people and completely, well, we all are at times.
Yes.
You really don't like small children and puppies. So.
Now, do know that sometimes his sarcasm is, really a joke.
You mean my wit is too dry and.
Zanetta, I have a question for you now, right?
Yes.
So, as Jeff was mirroring this back to you, was it in his mirroring that helped you realize that, you were in resistance and, started like.
I've never met anyone who really put the mirror in front of my face, and not to down me or to to show the ugliness of what trauma can do, but to show the beauty and the strength and the resilience. That's what he showed me. And I've never had that. I've never had anyone really call me out, because I'm very witty. I won't put you, but he was wittier.
Right.
He was wittier, and so he called out he called me out on my BS. He really did. But in a loving way, and not only in a loving way, but the truth. And I always honored and respected truth. if you tell me, hey, that was not nice, you were wrong, so I respect that. I might get upset.
She don't like being
You
told
know,
she's wrong.
I was just gonna ask. That was gonna be my question.
I would be upset,
Yeah, I
but
was gonna ask that. Yeah.
yeah.
So, there's a couple things in it to backtrack a little. So at one point, to your point, when we were progressing forward and, the walls were getting a little shorter and that, um, I think she hit a crossroads. So she tested me and she basically finally admitted what her real trauma was. And I let her speak and she spoke in it. At times it was like she was trying to provoke an argument while she told me the story. And basically, when she got done, I said, okay, so here's my question for you. Why did you tell me that? Did you tell me that because you thought I would hear it and I would run away? Or are you telling me that because you want my perspective and you want somebody's help moving forward? She did not have an answer at that point. She went back behind the wall. So, but I recognize that she had to think about that, and I guess the point there to anybody out there who's trying to help somebody over a trauma is you recognize good days, bad days, good approaches, bad approaches. If you are trying to work with somebody and they get mad at you, let them get mad at you. That's part of the process because they're not really mad at you. They're more likely mad at themselves. To her point when she basically said, I would tell her when she wasn't being nice or when she did something that, hey, I didn't deserve that, or why did you? She would get angrier. And this was even after we were back in the United States. It was like, I've been hung up on a few times. Like, but I also came to recognize, again, not taking it super personally. It was hard.
Yeah.
But, life evolves. So I guess, again, it's if you're out there, don't give up on people just because they react with anger, because it's not anger, it's still hurt and it's fear. But that person, if you've gotten to that point, that person really has, whether they voiced it or not, has made a decision. They want a bigger and better life. They want to recover. They want to exceed. They want to move on. They just don't necessarily know how to ask for help or how to say it in those kind of words. That was you.
That's good because I'm thinking because Jeanette and I have had our own experience with this, and I think I was so accustomed to telling the story that was my trauma that I was looking for sympathy for the condition that I had gotten to because of being in the situation and not owning it, as been mentioned in the chat. Not owning the position I was in, and I was looking for pity. I guess it was. And when I didn't get it, I was a little offended. I'm just saying. I was a little offended. And we got there. I was a little offended. I'm being mild. A little offended. And then when I didn't get it, the conversation kind of dried up. She was doing most of the talking and I was doing most of the And then we got off that call and she would call back and I wouldn't answer the phone. So then she'd send texts with emojis. And I'm like, I'm not answering you, because I was committed to the story, is the truth. Though. But I was committed to the story, not realizing what was happening though.
Yes.
Sounds very familiar.
See, I can only bring those that where I was out because you helped me come out. So I can help those.
That's a whole other issue.
Yeah, but
I should have brought out a disclaimer first. We can transform when loved. Yes. Unconditionally.
Yeah, but when you connect trauma with love, that's where the problems start. Because if your point of reference with love is trauma, then you don't recognize pure love, I'll call it, maybe. You don't recognize it. You equate it with trauma. So you're going to have, I had a trauma response. I knew that at some point I realized that you were doing what you were doing because you saw that I, could be better, do better, be better than where I was. But at the time, I'd only had a negative experience with, with people and contact with people. I only had trauma. So I didn't take it. You were persistent, but I didn't initially. I didn't take it. It was like,
Hold on. Are you serious? You want to come in on this conversation, Natasha?
Ooh.
Do you want the link to come on? Please respond, and I will send you the link to come on live with us.
Send it anyway.
You know what? That's what I'm going to do. I am going to send it anyway. We also, can you read that while I send her the?
And who's that from? Patricia? We also need to recognize these brutal energies are getting healed step by step.
mm-hmm.
Sometimes it can be hard. We're in the mix of things. We can't really, get into the healing part. I think that's why having a really good support system is really vital. And, Zanetta was really blessed to have Jeff to support her through it. And I think congratulations to you, Jeff, too, in not taking it personal, because, that in itself, I have to say, is like a big step because a lot of the times, partners take it personal. They can't disassociate that, hey, it's not about me, it's about this other person. But I love them enough to stand by them and just support them through it, and lovingly, he got your walls down. They got shorter than they were become. They got shorter than they were become.
And I think, and yes, you're right. I mean, but it's not easy not to take it personally sometimes. And there were, but I think, you've got to, it's about how you care about somebody. It's about what you value in them and what you're willing to potentially sacrifice to help them come back. And I was a firm believer that she deserved to live and could have a much better life than she was currently. And that isn't about being with me or not. It's about her hopes, her dreams. It was about her ability to go and do the things that were important to her. And me being blunt at times didn't necessarily end just with her. I was vocally critical of the way she frequently bent way too far, in my opinion, backwards and sacrificing and letting her adult kids, do things while she went without. And to be blunt, I threw the bullshit flag on more than one occasion. Sometimes they got me in trouble, and sometimes sometimes it was like living in neutral Switzerland until the next invasion happened, or there was this roundabout. Oh yeah, you were right, and she wouldn't necessarily use those words as much as it was her actions. So, like I said before, if you're somebody out there and you're working with somebody and you're truly trying to help them, you have a rough road too. So don't ever get down on yourself or think you're a failure because something didn't work. Just try a different way.
Welcome, Natasha. I am so, listen, this is a miracle, okay? For Natasha to join. Thank you for joining. So, yes, you must have a lot to say. Come on.
Well, first of all, disclaimer, I have no video etiquette. So from here on, I will be using Rhonda's volume and Stefania's poise.
Just be yourself.
And your abilities in that to be comfortable on camera. I just want to talk about resilience because it's such an important subject to me. I want to really get into the meat and potatoes of it because I love Fun Fresh Fridays. This is a healing zone. I truly believe in what you guys do here. It's awesome. It's amazing. So I just wanted to talk about resilience a little bit. We consider resilience as bouncing back like a rubber ball. Like you just don't change, you just go down and you come back up. But that's not what resilience is. In a lot of ways, you guys talked about it, and I just want to kind of bring it to the forefront. What you said is the ability to come from behind the wall. I recognize for myself, like I said, I called forth my resilience before I ever knew I was resilient. It's a funny thing because I created an email and I was going through domestic violence at this time. And I created an email and I needed a name for my email. And I said, Resilient Essence. I was calling something that I didn't even understand was there or that I even needed. And in that, I was calling and saying something inside of me can get through all of this. Now, mind you, I was in domestic violence. I was being beat down physically, literally, black and blue. And in that time, I was saying something inside of me can get through all of this. But I didn't realize I was saying that. I just called myself Resilient Essence. And speaking on that, the resilient essence is the ability to be who you truly are, no matter what somebody puts you through. That's resilient essence. It's the resilience to truly be who you are. Like you're saying that Jeff was able to put that mirror in front of you. What does that mirror do? It shows you all the masks that you had to put on to get through life. But the resilience is in being able to peel them off no matter what that means. Somebody may come and hurt me, but I'm going to be transparent to who I am. I'm going to be truly who I am. Something may happen, but I still got to be who I am in the midst of everything. I have to appear. And I remember the time where I said, my children need me. They don't need what people have put on me. They need me. They don't need what I've been through. They don't need trauma. They don't need pain. They don't need me trying to be defensive. They need me. They need my laughter. They need my excitement. They need my ability to love. They need me. And that's the thing, is that resilience is being able to be you no matter what. And that is so hard. How do you trust when people have showed you how to not trust? The world needs more people who can trust. You got to come out resilient. You got to come out still trusting. How do you continue to give when the world show you not to give? You got to continue to give. You got to be resilient enough to still give because the world needs givers. That's what I recognize. Is resilience is not putting up the wall. Resilience is tearing down the wall. No matter how many bricks the people give you to build with, tear them down, cast them away, throw them out, put them in the fire, turn them to ashes, do whatever you got to do, but bring beauty out of that situation. That's resilience. And I just really wanted to come on and say that, but I have no video.
Yes.
I'm yelling. I'm sorry.
No. So Natasha, she gets really passionate when she speaks. And for those of you that probably just heard her story for the first time, you're kind of like gasping. So I've known Natasha for a while, a long time. And I've seen her go from losing her children to getting her children back. And you don't see her trauma right now. You don't see the domestic violence where she needed to go to the hospital quick. I mean, quick. 911 was not going to. So, but look at her. So when you're in this situation, when you're in the trauma, when you're in the in that pain, in that betrayal, in that hurt, and you're trying to come out of it, like what you said, you didn't understand what resilience was, and you didn't even know it. You were calling it out. You didn't even know you had it in you. But it took someone or hearing something or seeing from someone that you do have that resilience. And it took Jeff for me. It took him to put that mirror in front of me. Because after we go through trauma, and this is, I'm not sure if it's everyone, but I know I'm going to speak for myself. When we have all of these pains ever since from childhood to wherever, we are looking through the lens of trauma. We are looking through the lens of pain. We are looking through the lens of betrayal, because our conversation, our speech will always betray us. It will always tell us where we are at. Always. So when I was speaking to him, I was speaking hurt. I was speaking betrayal. He didn't do it to me.
Wasn't me.
It was a one-armed bear.
It was a one-armed bear.
It was, but how I spoke to him, even though it wasn't him, but I was looking through that lens, and he had to make that adjustment, and I had to accept. And like what Natasha said, I had to make sure that I physically took the bricks down as well, because it doesn't matter if he brought it down, I'm still going to build it.
Well, and part of that is you have to take the bricks down yourself, because if I take them down, I might have a nefarious intent, and you might not trust it. And I think, the other thing, Natasha, more power to you, because you can relate that story. And yeah, you're passionate about it, but you still did it kind of with a smile on your face. And even if part of that is just making it through the day, kudos to you, because that's a big part of it. And I think what people also need to recognize, though, is that significant trauma will always be with you. No matter how successful you are, it's always there. And that's okay, because you know what? That's part of your life. That's part of what built you. The key is not letting it be the controlling part of your life. So Natasha, clearly you don't, and you recover, and it takes years, but I can tell you now, there's still, it pops up every now and then. Mm-hmm. Something will be said, something will be done, and I'll get a look, or I'll get a comment, and I'll be like, where the heck did that come? Oh yeah, okay. It's never quite safe. Watch out for the landmine. No. But that, again, that's okay, because that's 0.5% of your life. What are you doing the other 99.5 is what matters. And what it's about is not letting your past traumas control you. They can still be there. They're always going to be there. But are they just oh yeah, I remember that, or oh that's an annoyance? But there's not control. You have control of your life. People can give you a helping hand, but what you do with it is really yours. And that's the other part about trauma. You have to recognize you can be in control again.
Mm-hmm. And also use that trauma to, because we'll never forget it. What we do forget is the sting of the pain, the sting of betrayal, the sting of, of the pain or the hurt that comes with the trauma. We'll never forget the trauma. I can tell the story, verbatim, as to what happened, and still some more stories are coming out. But even though some of the stories are still coming out, now I have that bounce back. Now I have that resilience. Now I have that, okay, here comes another trauma. I hit the ground just like the ball. It hits the ground. It deforms the ball, but it has enough resilience in the ball to make it bounce back to its normal state. Go ahead.
Not quite normal. More wonderful, more magnificent.
Well, right then.
Tremendous than ever before. It's a new level. And that's the thing, is I'm not really in a place where I feel like you're supposed to forget it. forgive and forget the person. you know, but
Forget the person.
when it comes down to the trauma itself, right?
Yeah.
It's like, no, learn from it. I told God, I said, I need you to help me to get through it properly, correctly, so I could teach others how to get through it. Now, if I forget it, then I'm one of those people who, look at somebody like, oh, look at them. I don't want to be like, oh, look at them. I want to remember what that person is thinking, where they're at, what are they chasing after, what do they really need to get to the next level. So no, I love the fact that we're not like that ball. When it hits the ground, it may get deformed, but by the time it gets back up, you can't even recognize what hit the ground. It's a whole nother level. It's like if it's a ball, then maybe it's a hot air balloon now. It's on another level.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
agree.
I think about it, and it hit me just recently because this is the time that my trauma happened. This is the month. And God is so good. He's done so much to change the story, the narrative of this month. This is the month that my story is I lost my children due to domestic violence and to Children Family Services, the CPS, which I myself am a foster child, which my mother and my father were both foster children. So with that being said,
Pause right there. She lost her children because she could not take care of them because she was so beaten
that day,
badly.
mm-hmm,
She
that
wasn't treating her children. She was not neglecting her children. She
right,
lost her children in a different circumstance, not the
right,
normal circumstance, but a different circumstance. Go ahead.
So
right,
Go ahead.
can I just
right.
quickly ask
Yeah.
you, sorry, Natasha, just to understand the American way of, didn't the government kind of step in to kind of like get you and your children out of that situation? Like, that's what would happen here in Australia. That like they just wouldn't take your children, they would take you and your children and put you in a safe place.
So they did. They put me in a hospital. And
Yeah.
my children, they needed to go to the receiving home. And there's backstory even to that, right? When I left, when I went to the hospital and they took my children to the receiving home, that's I also walked away from my home because that was our home. So then I had to get a home. There were steps to how to get my children back to safety. Um, and they told me it was not a revolving door. So I actually wrote a book about this. So you can get the information there.
It's in
But
Amazon.
yeah, the book is on Amazon currently. And actually I have it at free.free. Uh, so people can get the story so they can get the information on how to get out of situations like that. But there's a lot of backstory to how that all took place. They were not trying to do anything wrong. They were trying to step in, but I needed to go to the hospital. So there was no family members around or anything that could grab my children. Police can't sit there and babysit them. So they got taken. But in that process, I just moved out of that conversation and I was somewhere else. Now I just forgot what I was going to say. But in that process, the trauma, what my children were going through needed to change anyway, right? I needed to change anyway. Like I said, I'm another generation of foster care, so my mind needed to change also. I don't want to forget what all the process was, and as God was showing me, this month is that month, right? That I went through all of this. I forgot that my hair was cut to where it wasn't even in a ponytail at that time. And God was showing me that you didn't even have your hair then. You didn't have, I was a totally different person. I look like somebody else. I talk like somebody else. I act like somebody else than I do now. And as God shows me and reminds me what I used to be, even in physicalness, what I used to be, I'm not that same person. I am different. And this is the month that I get to celebrate 5 years of ministry that I started in this month. August 29th, November 29th. My birthday is August 29th. So that's why that number came. November 29th is when I walked a different way. I took a different path. And I started to take the steps to heal. November 29th, 5 years ago, is also when I opened my ministry. So God is showing me how he reclaimed all of it. More beautiful, not like a ball. Not like a ball. We're not rubber. We change, we transform. Like we talk about the butterfly, right? It's a metamorphosis. You hit that ground, you come back up something else, flying in different areas. You don't travel the same places you used to travel. You don't do the same things you used to do. You know, that caterpillar was on the ground, you know, crawling around. Butterfly, somewhere else on a
You will
whole.
not catch me crawling on the ground ever again.
Amen. 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 Never again. Never again. You know, so that's resilience. It takes you to the next level.
Yeah, you know what? You are so right, because if we look back 5 years ago, I was a total different person. A very total different person. To others, you know how we put that mask on.
Mm-hmm.
It's like that commercial.
Yes.
We put that mask on, and we show the best side of us. But then when we're in close, proximity, really don't like ourselves. Really don't like what we're looking at. And then when we're in close proximity with another person who sees that and calls you out on it, and then says, no, there's beauty in there, I know there is, and starts to help you, because I've gotten so comfortable, because 23 years of marriage, and then 30 years, so that's a lot of years of pretending. So I have embodied this other person that the world has put on me, or these different people have put on me, and I've gotten so used to it that I'm oh, might as well, okay, let's put this on. Let's keep on putting this on. But he saw through all of that, and to come out of it, how would you say that? When did you know? Because I've never asked you this.
Oh,
Oh gosh.
danger zone. Danger.
Uh-oh. When did you know that I finally transformed or transitioned or crossed that threshold?
Um, hmm.
Yesterday.
It's still ongoing. No.
It's-
Well, the transformation does continue
Yes,
because
it does. Yes, it does.
we still have discussions about you and the gift that I believe you have, and the message that you have that will help other people, and you're still developing that. So your transformation continues, and it's all the credit to you. I don't get to take credit for that. I may have moved some rocks, or I may have put up some road signs, but it's really all you. So I really, I would tell you that, remember back in 17 when you left to go to Florida, I really thought you weren't coming back. So
Shame when I made a commitment. I'm sorry.
that is so lame. Oh my God. Because I said that to you one time and you're like,
Yeah. So when did you 2017, 2018?
probably 18.
18.
I mean, yeah. I mean, we were moving along. We made a lot of progress, got to a certain point, and then it seemed like we were staying there, and it was like, well, maybe this is all there's ever going to be. And then, then we started, somehow one day we woke up, next thing we're talking about you coming back and getting married, and we're like, oh crap.
Yeah. I actually said the M word.
And that was a big deal.
It was a big deal, because I made a vow. I said I was never gonna get married again. And that's, that's what I told him. I said, yeah, no. But here we are. Yeah. So let me see. Do we do this? We also need to recognize these brutal energies are getting healed step by step. Yes. Also realizing punishment is no longer part of our reality. That is so true. That is so true.
Well, I mean, that's a part of a tenet of your book and forgiveness. Forgive yourself
Hmm.
because you didn't cause it, and that's tough for people who have suffered a trauma. Sometimes the blaming themselves. Maybe I could have done this. Maybe I could have done that. Well, if I whether it's a physical trauma, a car accident, I should have. What if I just left 30 seconds sooner? Or well, what if I hadn't used those words in a conversation? But what ifing yourself gets you nowhere. And again, it's what do you recognize, what do you accept, and how do you move forward from there?
Yeah.
Yes. I was
Okay, they're either really bored with me or I've left them speechless. I'm gonna go with I left them speechless. It's a better.
Yes, Rhonda.
Oh, Rhonda's not laughing. Look, she's got that look.
well, no. No, I just had so many things while you were talking. Zanette and I have had that conversation of putting on the faces. Like she called me on it because I had a face, and it was automatic. I didn't even consciously think about, you know, the face. It's like when I hit the door, the face went on, and wherever I was, the face changed. And then when I came back in, a new face went on, and she called me on it. And she's like, "Do you realize you do that?" And I said, "No, it was unconscious. Honestly, I didn't realize I was doing it." Um, and then I started to think about the bricks. So for me, I also walled myself behind a wall, except I didn't have a little door. I didn't have a doorknob. I felt trapped. I
Mm.
didn't. Somebody had to tell me the doorknob was on my side because I just felt totally trapped. And my trauma was not physical; it was mental and emotional. And then the person, places, and things that were responsible for that, um, the sympathy was going in that direction. Oh, poor them. Not the result of it having an impact on me. That was never a consideration. Never, ever a
Mm.
consideration. Poor them. Oh, they're doing it because XYZ. But I'm the one that's catching the fallout. Oh, you're all right. But I
Mm.
wasn't. I wasn't all right. So when the bricks started coming down, or I started to take the bricks down, I started to look at what was on the brick. So one of the bricks was the fear of being hurt.
Mm.
And when I looked at that brick, I said, well, so what if you get hurt? What does that mean? I was afraid to be hurt, but if you did get hurt, what would that mean? And then I realized nothing. I'd be okay. I'd already been through betrayal and being lied on and talked about ridiculously and belittled and demeaned and ridiculed. I'd already been through all of that, and I survived it. So I looked at the hurt brick and realized you'll be okay if you get hurt. And I looked at the betrayal brick and realized I'll be okay being betrayed. Because it's not about the other person, it's about me.
Mm-hmm.
And I survived it. So I'm dependent. I was expecting the other person to treat me the way I should be treated instead of giving that to myself. So no matter what you do, I give it to myself. I'm not depending on you to do it. That was huge because I was depending on everybody else to do it for me. It'd be nice if they did, But if
Mhm.
they don't, I give it to myself. And that was huge, because that was what those were the things that were on the bricks. If something happened, somebody did something to you, why are you afraid of that?
Mm.
If they hurt your feelings, why are you afraid your feelings are hurt? What's behind it?
Yeah. And you know what? I think the reason why we have those masks on and we build those bricks is because it's easier.
Mhm.
It is
Mm-hmm.
so much easier because then we can pretend that everything is okay and we don't have to face it. We don't have to realize, oh, okay, yeah, as long as you're going to live, somebody's going to hurt you, somebody's
Mhm.
going to lie on you,
Mhm.
somebody's going to betray you.
Mhm.
Keep living. Somebody
It's gonna
will.
happen. Mhm.
It's going to happen. And the sooner you realize that it is going to happen and you overcome all of these other, you know, traumas and betrayals and hurts, that okay, here we go. Let's put on that, you know. Let's go. Let's go. You know,
Right. You
um,
will recover.
yeah, you will recover. You will definitely recover.
I
Yeah,
think the
one of
key
the
word there is I. When Rhonda said I, she said, I will get through it. And you said, you will recover. That is the essence of resilience, is that you don't come out of it a monster. You're
Mm,
not resilient if you came out of it a monster. You're not resilient if you came out of it a creep. You're not resilient if you came out of it a bully.
right.
You're not. And that's the truth. And
Right.
I feel like that you said it's easier to put on the mask. And that is the truth. It's not so much that it's easier because then you can pretend like nothing happened. No, it's easier because you're feeding your ego.
Mm,
It's easier because you're feeding your pride. And as long as you're feeding that, you're kind of happy. You're kind of able to deal with that. Though something that I had to learn was that self is a bottom feeder. It can be happy off of everybody giving you condolences. It can be happy off of everybody trying to, join your pity party. It can be happy off of anything. You don't have to be doing good for self to be happy. And it's a bottom feeder. But this is the thing. When you stop feeding that pride, you stop feeding that ego, and you say, I got betrayed, but I'm still going to be a friend. You've tore down that mass and you've tore down those bricks. And that's a hard thing to do, because you're saying, I'm willing to go back into the fire and
mhm.
continue to be a friend to for me to get out of this, because Natasha will come out. Not nothing else. Not no creep, not no monster, not no bully, not nothing else. Natasha, Rhonda is coming out of this. That's who you're going to see on the other side. And that's the thing. That's what creates that resilience, is getting to that point where you have made up in your mind, ain't nobody else coming out of this, even if it hurts,
Yeah.
even if I get stepped on again.
Right.
Nobody else is coming out of this but me. Yeah.
well, one of the you've all kind of touched on this, but one of the I think the positive sides of being resilient and being able to come out is being willing and able to extend trust and benefit of the doubt again.
Mm-hmm.
That
Mm-hmm.
not everybody, not everything should be looked at with that jaundiced eye. That you can't, you don't. Somebody says something, you don't automatically assume the worst. It's the
Mm-hmm.
ability to believe in the best and to give the benefit of the doubt and believe that people are acting out of courtesy and appropriateness and niceness and caring, not just with an ulterior agenda. And I think that's tough. And
Mm-hmm.
it is I think it's a struggle you go through every day as you move forward in your life.
I know I still have that. That
What? No.
I will always tell on myself,
Uh-huh.
because the truth will set you free and make you free.
Yes.
Um, I still have that issue. I still have that struggle, and I'm working on it. And he will always call me on it. It's like, why you always go to the worst?
Mhm.
And, and so I'm like, well, I can't help it. But he says, yes, you can. So, with his help, and with that step by step coming out of it, of because I'm very, very analytical. I analyze everything that was said, what's not being said, what's their motive, everything. So in that, looking at, giving them the benefit of the doubt, looking through the lens. I told Natasha earlier, I said, you have the innate ability to look through the lens of love and grace,
Way to go.
and I want to be there.
Way to go.
I want to get there. I'm not there yet, but I'm on my way. With him calling me out, and I see, Natasha as an example. Being meshed in between. Yeah, I'm well, on my way. But yeah, it is hard. It is hard. It takes effort on my part. It takes effort to see that, yeah, because if I would have looked in the same eyes, with you, then we would never be.
True. I mean, just me and the dog.
Just you and the
Me
dog,
and the dog.
me and the cats.
You wouldn't even have the cats.
I would have cats.
You'd be a cat lady.
Yeah, I'll be a cat lady.
Meow.
Meow. This is every day.
Wow.
Oh no, you're giving the wrong impression. It's every day. You're like constantly him calling me out. It makes it like I'm a taskmaster. Hey, Zanetta, let me say, right here, right now. Let me tell you.
Okay, let me make it clear. This is every day that he makes me laugh. That he brings
It's just because
joy.
you think I'm funny looking.
You're handsome. You're my handsomeness.
Oh, gorgeous.
And so he makes me laugh. He's he always pushes. He's very supportive, very supportive. And I thank you for that, honey.
You're wonderful.
Oh.
And I still want to beat other people. So.
Oh, God. So we are at an hour and 7 minutes, well, 8 minutes now. And this has been a great conversation. So what do you think of the mystery guest? It brought Natasha out. I tell you now.
Ron was like,
all I had to do was bring him to bring you out, Natasha. That's all I had to do. I should have done it a long time ago.
I was bait for Natasha.
So do you guys have other questions or comments and for our no longer mystery guests? No questions.
Tough audience.
Yeah, they're very.
I do have a question for Jeff. So, what would you say to our viewers then, Jeff, for those that come in, encounter someone with resistance and having that resilience to also deal with?
I would say a couple of things. One, you can't ever, if you truly want to help, if you're really there because you believe in this person and you believe you see the innate qualities they can no longer see or that they no longer trust. While it's very, very hard, don't ever make it about yourself. And that's not to mean you won't feel sad, that you won't get angry, that you won't get frustrated and want to quit. But it's really not about you. It's about recognizing their trauma, whatever it might be. And you have to have an innate understanding. But at the same time, you're not always going to get it right. So when you don't get it right, don't beat yourself up. Because hopefully you're coming from a place of good intention. And people can say that the road to hell is paved in good intentions, but the real truth is it's about an honesty, and it's about putting yourself out there in order to help somebody else. But you have to recognize too, in the end, they may be super appreciative of your help, and they may always be grateful, but they may decide that now that they've broken out and through, their life needs to go in another direction. And now you've got your own little bit of trauma and hurt, but again, you don't seal yourself off behind a wall. So it's very complex, and it's an everyday struggle, and you're always working on it. So don't give up.
Thank you. Great. Don't give up. Wise words, wise suggestions.
Well, you do get what you pay for, so. There we go. Rhonda finally laughed. Good. There's two. There's two. I'm good. If I get a third one, I get a bonus. All right, there you go. Oh, look, it's almost like a
she
ball.
got her head back.
Man.
Thank you.
So, all right, lady. Thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. It was very interesting. Good to
Yeah.
finally see what you guys conspire and do every Friday.
I'll have to have Jeff on my show, Zanetta.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
How about
Yep.
that?
Guaranteed to drive down your ratings and scare people by.
No.
I just want to close with don't die trying to get out. Don't sell your soul trying to get from behind the wall, trying to get out of the trauma. When, like I said, when you come out, make sure that you're still you.
Mhm.
And I think that that's the beauty of it all, is having that testimony that I'm me. I'm the best part of myself, and I'm not anything else. So.
Yeah. Yeah.
And next time I come, I am gonna have Rhonda's voice.
I'm telling you,
I need to stay calm.
she has this sultry voice. I always tell her she has a sultry voice.
Always does.
Yes.
I don't want to
Rhonda.
drive down your guys' ratings by being the angry person. Like, oh,
No, you're the passionate person.
But Natasha, don't change. What did you just say then?
Yes, don't change. Just be you.
No.
Oh, I can't.
She can't help it.
I've tried.
be able to
I
help
preach
it.
everywhere I go. I preach everywhere I go.
So, Rhonda, what are your last thoughts?
I was really thinking, I didn't find out who I really was until I came out of the trauma. I went into it one way and I came out as me. And that covers a lot of areas. But I really didn't know who I was as a person, because I'd put on all the faces. And I had a different face for everything and everybody. So I went into the trauma one way and came out as me. I even looked in the mirror and introduced myself to myself. It's very odd, but I did.
Yes. Hi, nice to meet you.
Hi, nice to meet you. I really did do that.
Good practice.
So, Rhonda, what I would tell you is don't sell yourself short, because you came out. Yes, you came out as you, but you came out a bigger, better, and stronger you. Because
That's true.
There's no way not to. It just happens.
Yep,
So
that's true.
don't ever sell yourself short.
That's true.
Stefania.
I'm just writing that down. Introduce yourself to yourself. I like that. Actually, like a total ritual, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. So I guess don't give up. Keep being resilient, and just know that you have choice. Going back to last week's episode, it all evolves around that again, that we do have the choice. We do open up the door. We do have the doorknob to actually make those turns. And you're not alone. As alone that you feel that you are, you're never alone. So keep going. Even if you have to smile, and it's not putting a facade on or a mask. I guess when you have to get vulnerable and you're in the right space to get vulnerable, allow yourself to get vulnerable. I think that's really important. But sometimes we're not in the right space to get vulnerable. So it's okay to even put on a smile. You know what I mean? And just make yourself feel good by talking in the mirror, reintroducing yourself, saying, whatever, you've got an amazing smile. Let's go and do this. And you just face the world again, because that's what we have to do. We don't stop. We have to keep facing the world. So yeah, it's been very interesting. It's been a great conversation. Great to have Natasha on. Thank you, Natasha. We look forward to more of you. And the mystery guest, Jeff. So I had some guesses today with who it was, and Zanetta was very tight-lipped, which was
Very tight. Very,
tight.
very.
But it was a pleasant surprise. So yeah, thank you. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Jeff.
Well, I will leave you with this. Stay resilient and don't be a creep.
Word choice. I mean, hey.
I have to be me. I have to put in some of that. Just don't be a creep. For those of you that are just now tuning in, please rewind and you'll understand what I mean. Natasha said it really good. Don't be a creep. Don't be a monster. Don't be a weirdo. Be resilient. Don't be a creep. So thank you so much for those that stayed on. I really appreciate you guys, and for those that commented, really appreciate your support. And for those that were watching on YouTube, we have 2. Woohoo! And thank you, Natasha, for also coming on. And I now up to 35 subscribers on YouTube.
There we go.
I'm telling you, she's a trailblazer. She's like, we need to do this. So next week we will not have the Fun Fresh Fridays, because here in America, Stefania, it is called Black Friday, not Fun Fresh Friday. It's the day after Thanksgiving. So it's going to be a holiday, and everyone's going to be with their families and loved ones. And so next Friday, we won't have it. We will have it on the next Friday, which will be hosted by our very own Stefania.
Ah.
She's like, oh my God. So until next time, thank you so much.
Yes.
Thank you, honey.
Yep.
Thank you.
Do you have one thing to say, last thing to say?
No, I'm good.
Okay, all right. Until next time. Okay.
Bye.